Hello everybody! Welcome to our Introduction to Fraction Review, Part 1. Fractions is a pretty big unit in 4th grade, so we're going to be breaking it into a bunch of smaller pieces. So this is the very beginning, and a lot of these things students have worked on last year. To introduce fractions in 4th grade, we're going to use a couple of objects we are going to use, and the kids all have these at their desks. We're going to use our yellow hexagon, we're going to use our red trapezoid, we're going to use our blue rhombus, and we're going to use our green triangle. And those are all the shapes that we're going to use when we're looking at these. Now the first thing I tell the students is, every time we do fractions, we have to establish what the one whole is. Because I don't know what the half is until I know what the whole is. And you're going to see what I'm talking about in a second. So in this first question you see that we have up here, they tell us the whole is going to be the hexagon. So this thing is one whole piece. Okay? The question says, to divide the hexagon into two equal parts and color half of the hexagon. So we look at our pieces we have at our desk and I go, okay, well which one of these looks like it's half of the hexagon? And the kids will hold up their trapezoid, and in their book, because the pieces are the same size, they'll take the trapezoid and put it right on top of there, and I go, okay, well let's cut that in half. And then let's shade in, how much are they asking for? Asking for 1/2. So 1/2 means that we've cut it into two pieces. We care about one of them. So we've cut it into two pieces. We care about one of those pieces. We refer to those parts as our denominator. Our bottom number is our denominator. How many pieces? Our top number is our numerator. How many of those pieces that we're concerned about or we care about at that time. So now we go down to the next question. This is where we always talk about what is the one whole. Because down here, we look and we go, well here's our whole shape. What is the one whole here? Well, the one whole here is going to be a rhombus. And that's going to change things. Because before we said, okay, 1/2 is a hexagon. Or 1/2 of the hexagon, I'm sorry, is a trapezoid. Well, that's not going to be the same here. A trapezoid is not going to be worth 1/2 of this. So we look at this object and we go, okay, well, they want us to divide the rhombus into two equal parts again. So if we cut this in half, what piece are we going to use? And the kids inevitably go, okay, it's the triangle. Alright, well let's cut that in half into two triangles. And then let's look at the fraction they give us. They want us to color in 0 halves. And the kids go, they don't want us to color in anything? Nope. Don't color in anything. We just want to point out to you that there is such thing as 0 halves. That's a real fraction. We're not concerned with either parts. We cut it into two pieces, we're not going to color either one of them. Okay? Let's look at the next question here. Divide the trapezoid into 3 equal parts. Well, back up. What's the whole? Okay, the whole thing here is going to be a trapezoid. Okay, well that's going to change things then. We've changed the one whole each time. Alright, cut into 3 equal parts. What are we going to use to cut this into 3 pieces? And the kids will look with their shapes, and they go, we're going to use a triangle. And I say, well isn't that interesting, because we've changed what the triangle is worth. The triangle up here was worth 1/2. Down here, it's only going to be worth 1/3, because it takes 3 of them. By changing what the one whole is, we change the value of the triangle. So we'll draw our triangle pieces in there. And now they want us to shade in 2/3. 2 is our numerator, 3 is our denominator. There's 1. There's 2, and when we look at that we go, is that bigger or smaller than 1/2? Just to start talking about fractions, you can see, well 2/3 is just a little bit bigger than 1/2. And we know, yeah, 2/3 is just a little bit bigger than 1/2. At the very bottom, we look and we've got another hexagon here, so our one whole is going to be the hexagon. And we want to divide the hexagon into 3 equal parts, and we talk about it all the time with our fractions. They have to be equal pieces in order to do fractions correctly. Alright, well let's take a look at this thing. What could we use? The kids will look at their shapes, and eventually they'll come up with the rhombus. The rhombus is going to be 3 equal parts. Alright, so they can use it to trace in their books. I'll do it with my markers up here. So there's my 3 equal parts. And let's look, they want us to color in 1/3 of that. So there's our 3 equal parts. We're concerned with one of them, 1/3. So there is 1/3 of the hexagon colored. And that is our introduction to fractions, part 1.